I have myself, I said. That's more than I had before. She left without another word, the door shutting harder behind her than it needed to. My mother never showed up in person. She wasn't built for confrontation the way my father and Remo were. Her weapon of choice had always been distance and disappointment, the long guilt-soaked silence that made you chase after her apologizing for things you hadn't done. True to form, a week after everything, an email arrived from an account I didn't recognize, and it took me a moment to realize it was my mother using a friend's address because I'd blocked her own. The subject line read, "Please read this." I almost didn't, but I did. It was long, and it swung wildly between two registers, wounded mother and wronged matriarch, sometimes within the same paragraph. She wrote about how hurt she was that I'd share private family matters in an email to everyone. She wrote about how the voicemail had been taken out of context, and how Uncle Salim exaggerates when he's had a few drinks. She wrote about everything she'd sacrificed for me as a child: education, meals, a roof, as though those were favors extended rather than a parent's basic obligation. And then, near the end, buried in all of it, was the one line that told me everything I needed to know about whether anything would actually change. I don't understand why you can't just let this go. We need you, Daniel. Please just come back to how things were. Now I'm sorry. Not I understand why you're hurt. Just, we need you. Even in an apology, even reaching out after everything, the ask remained exactly the same as it had always been. Not I want you back because I love you. Just plainly, we need you. I read it twice to be sure I wasn't imagining it, and then I closed the email without replying. Some things don't need a response. That was one of them. It's been about 10 days now since the voicemail. I haven't unblocked anyone. My father tried calling from an unknown number once. I let it ring out. My uncle hasn't reached out again, which honestly didn't surprise me. Men like him rarely follow through on anything that isn't transactional, including apologies. I won't pretend it's been easy. There are nights where the old guilt creeps back in, whispering that I've done something unforgivable, that good sons don't do what I did, that I'll regret this when I'm older and there's no one left to call. But then I think about that 38-second recording, my mother's voice, light and amused, saying he doesn't even ask questions anymore, and the guilt loses its grip a little more each time. Because here's what I've come to understand. For 4 years, I mistook being useful for being loved. I thought that as long as I kept showing up with my wallet open, it meant something, that it was proof of my place in that family, evidence that I belonged. But love that only shows up when you're providing something isn't love. It's an arrangement. And the moment I stopped upholding my end of that arrangement, everyone's true feelings came out at once, fast and unfiltered, because none of them had ever actually built the muscle of caring about me for reasons that had nothing to do with money. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I feel triumphant. It's quieter than that. It's more like the first deep breath after holding it for a very long time. No group chat blowing up my phone every other day. No mysterious emergencies that only happen the week after payday. No performance of gratitude that curdles into resentment the second I ask a single question. Just quiet. And for the first time in years, that quiet feels like mine. Wow. What a story, right? It's honestly wild to think about how long Daniel carried that weight without even fully realizing it. Years of being treated like a walking bank account. And the one thing that finally broke the cycle was an accident, a voicemail that was never supposed to reach him at all. What really gets me is how he didn't respond with rage or some huge, dramatic blow-up. He gathered his proof, laid it out calmly, and walked away with his dignity intact. No shouting, no scenes, just quiet, deliberate distance. But not everyone's going to see it the same way. Some people might say he should have given his family a real chance to make things right instead of cutting them off in one email. Others are probably nodding along, thinking he did exactly what needed to be done. Years too late, if anything. So what do you think? Was Daniel's quiet exit the right call? Or too extreme? Would you have confronted them differently? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your take.